second best line. What happens next for us? Cause you take more than you give. I'm running around trying to find my pieces. You take more than you give. Running around trying to find what's left. Cause you take more than you give. I'm running around trying to find my pieces. You take more than you give. Running around trying to find what's left of you. Take more than you give. I'm running around trying to find my pieces. You take more than you give. Running around trying to find what's left of me.
Millionaires are being made all season long at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Play whenever you want. Got a player who's hurt? No problem. Injuries won't derail your shot at victory because it's like a new season every week, so you're never stuck with the same players. Pick your team in minutes, and you could be on your way to winning huge cash. This season, one listener turned $10 into $5,000. Another turned $2 into $10,000. And a new millionaire has been crowned nearly every week this season at DraftKings.com. You could be next. Imagine winning $1 million in one day just playing fantasy football at DraftKings. Head to DraftKings.com now and use promo code Spreaker to play free in the $10 million Fantasy Football World Championships. DraftKings.com. Bigger events, bigger winnings, bigger millionaires. Enter Spreaker now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
Welcome back to the Bob Sullivan Show here on latenightsportsradio.com. If you'd like to call in, the call-in number is 585-633-7487. I'm back here with Alex Smith, talking some betting, some NFL. And we got the divisional round this weekend. We got Baltimore, New England, Carolina, Seattle, Dallas, Green Bay, Indy, and Denver. Right now, the line for the Ravens Patriots is a 7-point spread. What's your take on the spread right now for Baltimore, New England, Alex?
Well, looking at that game, Baltimore is one of those teams that they're not scared of playing the Patriots, especially in the playoffs. They've beaten them once before. That defense could really give Tom Brady some trouble. And if you look at the offensive line for the Patriots, hasn't been that great. Brady's been hit more than a lot of quarterbacks this year. So you add in that Baltimore's getting back some of the guys. Haloti Ngata's healthy. Elvis Dumerville and Terrell Suggs have been as fierce of a duo as anybody in the NFL on defense. Baltimore getting 7 points. That's the side to look at right now. Their offense can keep up with New England. Joe Flacco has been amazing in the postseason. So at first glance, I like taking the points with the Ravens.
Looking at the with the Ravens, are they? What's your biggest concern with them against the Patriots?
Biggest concern, I guess the only thing that would concern me is if they don't find any balance with their running game. If with Pierce, they're pretty much a big running option. So if New England can stop the run and then eventually figure out a way to kind of put a stop to the passing attack, kind of make Baltimore one-dimensional the whole way through, that could be an issue. I don't see New England come up with a lot of big stops as far as containing the passing, though. And with New England, it's kind of the same thing. New England they're pretty much pass oriented. Not a lot of running from them. The other issue is Gronk is healthy, which, that's going to be always a big issue for Baltimore or any team. Who you put on to cover Rob Gronkowski. If he breaks open, or if you put two guys to cover him, and then, you leave a bunch of other guys open for Tom Brady to kind of pick and choose who he wants to throw to. So the passing game is going to be something to watch in that matchup on both ends of the ball.
As far as Indy and Denver goes, with the way Peyton's played this year, kind of, a little shaky, do you see Denver being vulnerable against the Colts team that's pretty flawed as well, even with an Andrew Luck?
Yeah, they're vulnerable, but here's something that I always look for when you start talking about the divisional playoffs. And I'll kind of bring New England back into the fold when we're talking about this. You look at the teams that get that bye week. Denver really needed their bye week. They get Demaryius Thomas back. Anytime Peyton Manning gets a week off, him getting older, he can rest up and rest his body. You have those spots. Those teams, look to rest and be completely healthy. When you look at New England, they had some minor injuries and bumps like every other team looking in this time of the year, but when you're playing a team that feeds off of momentum like Baltimore, you look at Baltimore when they went to the Super Bowl, they were a wild card team. They usually go in as a wild card team, so they feed off that momentum of winning week after week, keeping their same routine. So that's a team that's a little more dangerous to play. So as far as Indy and Denver goes, I think Indianapolis, they beat a very overrated Cincinnati team. Cincinnati never shows up for the playoffs. I was on the Colts heavy last week and cashed that. Didn't have to sweat that game out too much. But this week, knowing Denver, Peyton's going to be hyped up to play the Colts. He always is. But looking at how these two teams played at the beginning of the year, Denver jumped out to a big lead. Indy came back late. So the Colts can give them some trouble for sure. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring. Looking at the total, opened at 52, it's all the way up to 53.5, 54. I think we could see a real shootout in that game.
You do agree with the 54 point?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll go over that.
And who are you taking in this one?
I think Denver will advance, but I think they win by a field goal. So I'll take the 7 points with Indy. I think Denver, and that correlates with a prop that I looked at. It says, will there be a game-winning field goal to touchdown in any game as time expires during the divisional playoffs? There's a spot that's giving 4-1 odds on yes. So that might be something to look at. I think Denver wins that at the last second on a field goal.
I would actually bet that happens in the Packers game, because that always happens in Green Bay.
That is true.
In a cold weather environment, it always comes down to a field goal in Green Bay. I'm guessing that's where it's going to happen if it does, especially with a broken down Aaron Rodgers. I kind of feel like if there's a game that's going to happen, I feel like it's that one.
You're right. Rodgers, they just announced earlier today that he's got a tear in that calf muscle that's already strained. Those are two injuries you definitely don't want in this kind of cold weather. It's going to be, I think it said 16 degrees, wind chill like 6 below that day. That, Lambeau Field, that grass gets, harder than a rock. So it's going to be interesting to see how Rodgers reacts if he even plays the whole game. I mean, if, he gets hit or, somebody happens to step on him again, maybe, we might end up seeing Matt Flynn, and that could change the whole course of the game. But, and you look at, like you said, because that come down to field goals, two really good kickers with Mason Crosby for the Packers and Dan Bailey for Dallas. The kicking game is going to be huge in that, I don't really know Bailey's record as far as kicking in cold weather, but Mason Crosby, he's had struggles before, but he seemed to kind of correct things over the last couple of years. So special teams will be huge in that Packer and Cowboy game.
Right now, the Packers and Cowboys, 6.5. Spread 6.5. Do you agree with that? And has it changed any since the announcement of the tear in the calf of Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, and actually, a lot of books I'm seeing now have 6 or 5.5 now. Green Bay only laying 5.5. If you like Dallas, like I do, you might want to wait till kickoff to play this game, because that's when you'll see Green Bay money. The public's gonna, even loving Green Bay all year. That line will probably bounce back up to 6.5 or 7. Also a good time to maybe look for a live wager. Green Bay gets off to a good start and scores first. You might be able to get Dallas at 7.5 or 8 potentially. So if you like Dallas, I say wait till around kickoff. If you like Green Bay, jump on it right now at 5.5. I can't imagine seeing anything lower than that before kickoff on Sunday.
In the potentially most boring game of the weekend, Carolina versus Seattle, with an 11-point spread, Seattle, 40.5 points. That's got to be the under, right? You can't go over 40.5 on this one, right?
Nah, here's the thing. That's a really low total for an NFL game, unless it's preseason. I'm seeing some 39.5 now. Both teams are defensive minded. Both teams like to run the ball, like to get the quarterbacks implemented and running the ball. But when you start, that's a couple of touchdowns, a couple of turnovers, and that game can go over really fast. So I'm not gonna, I don't like playing unders around 42 or less in the NFL. Conversely, I can't really see myself just jumping all over the over with these two teams, knowing how well these two teams have been playing defensively. Seattle has been just, a brick wall in defense the last several weeks. Carolina's defense has been good for years when they're completely healthy. As far as the spread goes, I'm definitely not laying 11 points with Seattle. I can't lay double digits in any kind of playoff game. I just don't even look at that side. What I do like in this game, though, saying that both teams play well defensively, which I do expect. This is going to be a feel-out kind of game. We're going to see a lot of stops on third down. We might see some, teams, try and run enough 4th and 1, 4th and 2. I like Carolina getting 7 points in the first half of this game. I'm seeing, I think it's +7 pretty much everywhere right now. That number came out today. So that's something I definitely will be playing on Saturday. Will be Carolina first half. I think they keep it within a field goal. They might even have the lead going into halftime, but that sets up a spot for, I think, Seattle will wear down Carolina. Seattle gets off to a lead. Cam Newton, he seems to kind of look despondent when he's losing. Even last week, Carolina didn't win that game last week. It was Arizona not having a quarterback that basically gave the Panthers a win. So if Carolina gets down in this game, especially late, Seattle has a chance to really run away with it. So I would look at Seattle advancing in this game, but I'm not gonna lay the 11. I'm taking Carolina plus the points in the first half.
Have you seen any teaser bets for this weekend that you like, or do you stay away from teasers come playoff time?
No, there are some good spots for teasers. When you're looking at this Carolina-Seattle game, with such a low total and such a high spread, that's a perfect spot for a teaser. A 6-point teaser, and you take Carolina, plus as high as 17, and go over, as low as 34, 33.5, or something like that. I don't play a whole lot of teasers, but that game is I can imagine books taking a lot of money on teasers with that particular matchup, and just matchups in both days. Teams who a lot of people like Green Bay and Denver on Sunday will probably tease it. You see a lot of parlays around this time of year too. I don't get too fancy with the exotic plays in the during the postseason. I just kind of look for a side or a first half usually and fire on that. I'm very selective with playoff games where I bet. So.